Hello my friends, amigos. I'm glad to have you back on my channel, ready for another recipe of the traditional cuisine from Spain. Today I'm going to prepare a fish recipe. If you've been following my recipes, you know that I've said so many times I'm such a fan of fish, and it's sad these days that younger people, what is it with fish and young people? They can only eat fish, in fish fingers nowadays. It's a bit sad. So I'm trying to encourage younger people to eat fish because it makes lovely recipes and is such a source of vitamins and nutrients. Anyway, it's cod today, bacalao. And, cod being one of the ever-present fish all over the world, really. And this is basically what I saw my mum doing in the kitchen. This is a very easy recipe. I remember my mother doing it so many times, like in 20 minutes, preparing dinner for her 7 children. If you remember, my mother had 7 children. And what we do is basically we're going to use desalted cod, okay, ideally. This is a recipe that you can, of course, prepare with fresh cod as well. But traditionally in Spain, we imported the cod from places like Iceland, and it was salted and brought in ships. And this was so because it helped preserving the cod for, weeks and months. And desalted cod is the basic ingredient of many recipes in Spanish cuisine. Today I'm going to give you just a simple one. What do we need? Always in my recipes, easy to find ingredients. Of course we need the cod. I've got 3 desalted cod steaks. Desalted means that I buy it salted in, big steaks, and you have to soak it in water for like 48 hours to eliminate all the extra salt. These have been finally rinsed and they're ready to go for the recipe. But like I said, if you prefer to do the recipe with fresh cod or frozen cod once it's been defrosted, no problem at all. What else do we need? I've got basic ingredient. I remember my mother roasting the bell peppers. I've got like a big bell pepper roasted in the oven. But again, if you don't roast your own peppers, you can buy them in a tin or in a small jar. We're going to need just a couple of spoons of tomato sauce. All right. Basic ingredient to begin the recipe, a big onion, okay, this is the dry kind. All right, 3 eggs, basically, 1 egg for each cod steak. And other than that, the staple ingredient of Spanish cuisine, extra virgin olive oil, pepper for the seasoning, and I got a bit of fresh basil from the garden today. If you don't have fresh basil, buy it dry and it will do the job in the recipe. Okay, I didn't have any parsley from the garden today. I could just find this little twig because it's the end of the summer and everything out there is so dry. If you have parsley, use a few parsley leaves as well for the recipe. Okay, so this is all you need for the shredded cod my mother prepared. I'm going to shred the cod here. Me personally, I include the skin of the cod in the recipe because I think it's very tasty and it makes the recipe more authentic. I'm just coarsely chopping up and shredding the cod with the skin. It's easily done. We need to chop the onion finely. So now we need to soften the chopped onion in the olive oil. We're going to be using, we need a broad pan for this, preferably, sort of flat. The more flat, the better, okay? A good squirt, all right. When the onion has been softened in the olive oil, we need to incorporate the shredded cod. Okay. You can hear it sizzling. 5 or 6 minutes cooking the cod will be enough to cook the small bits and also for them to steam off the extra water, all right? One thing that you need to remember is if you're using the salted cod, do not salt the pan. Do not add any extra salt. On the other hand, if you're using fresh cod, you might want to taste it for salt and add a little bit, okay? We are now going to add a bit of pepper. Minutes, you can see what it looks like. The cod has, let go of the extra juice in the steaks, and yeah, I think it's the time to incorporate the red pepper, okay, and the tomato sauce. Just a couple of spoons, not much. All right, and a good stir. I've turned down the heat. There we go with the fresh basil. We sprinkle a little bit of it also to taste. I rather like basil in this recipe. Parsley as well, okay. Right. It really smells very appetizing. Cook it for an extra 2-3 minutes before we add the eggs. Right? Okay. And we stir them in gently and blend in nicely with the cod mixture. One thing with this dish is in a couple of minutes the egg will be ready, and this needs to be served immediately, okay? And I usually serve it on a platter with garlic bread and a lovely glass of white garnacha. Here is our tasty recipe of shredded cod and pepper, and ready to be served on the table. And with the added twist of the basil, you will see how it adds to the dish. There we go. I think we're going to have a good 4 portions today. Buen provecho.